All right, let us now cross over to Diani, where our reporter Tobias Chanji is on the ground speaking to KUPPET officials on the challenges of JSS in the country. Tobias, if you can hear me, take us through that interview.
A very good morning, Grace. Indeed, we are coming to you live from Avion Junior Secondary School in Diani, Kwale County. As you all know, since last week, we've been covering stories to do with the junior secondary school. And at one time, we had an opportunity to tour around several public schools, and we saw how the condition was appalling. And today, we'll be looking at the difference between these public schools and also the private schools. As you can see just behind me, this is one mat boards that the learners here are able to use on a daily basis, as compared to most of the public schools that we were, where even the furniture is something to dream about. Another thing that you've seen in across of the schools in Kwale County is that they still lack teachers, some of the school having even 1 or 2 teachers who are being forced to teach all subjects. With me here, I'll be speaking to several stakeholders. First, I'll be speaking to the teachers of this school, and also later on, I'll also be talking to Leonard Orange, who's the Executive Secretary of KUPPET, covering Kwale County, to just paint for us a picture when it comes to matters education, and especially on the junior secondary school education. Maybe Mwalimu will kindly just tell us how different is this school with the rest. Kindly start with your name.
Thank you very much, our citizen, our media. Our school is quite different from public because we are well equipped. We have all the facilities that pertains the CBC implementation. We are fully the CBC compliant school in terms of the infrastructure and also arrangement, the manpower, well equipped with all the qualifications that our Ministry of Education needs.
Like just behind you, that is smart board. How does it work?
Our smart board here is well equipped in that the learners and also the teachers are able to access all the information they need in terms of the digital literacy and also in terms of implementing all the core competencies and also the core values of the CBC.
Yeah. Which brings me to another question. So is it a must for anyone joining here to be maybe ICT literate?
Yes, it's a must to be an ICT literate, and if you are not, we are equipped, well retooled for the same.
Okay. Thank you, Mwalimu. What's your name?
My name is Jairus Waswa. Welcome. I'm the principal of the school.
Okay. Just maybe allow me to speak to the director before speaking to the KUPPET. Maybe just kindly, madam, introduce yourself, then tell us if how's the situation or learning situation in Kwale County when it comes to both private and public on JSCC?
Thank you. My name is Victoria Sila, the director of Avion School. And we have quite a big difference between the schools in Kwale, considering the private schools and also the public schools, because most of the private schools are really trying to provide the facilities. Like for us here, we have embraced the use of ICT. We have fiber internet. We have the smart boards. We have an ICT laboratory whereby every learner has a computer for their own use. And we also are using the current technology of N-computing. But when you go to the public schools, you find that they are very crowded. They do not have these facilities. There's no internet. They don't even have the personnel. Like one teacher is teaching almost all the subjects in the public schools. But for us here, we have specialized. A teacher teaches only 2 subjects of their area of specialization. And so I find that we have quality learning in our private schools and most of Avion School, but for the government schools or the public sector, we really have a challenge. I feel something needs to be done for the learners to be competent and for effective learning to take place.
So what should the government do?
The government needs also to employ more teachers to be able to actually equip the learners with the knowledge, because you find a teacher teaching an area they are not specialized in, and definitely they cannot be effective. Also in terms of facilities and equipping the schools, a lot needs to be done. So my urge or my plea to the government is to finance the public schools in terms of the structures, in terms of the laboratories, in terms of ICT, because with the 21st century learner, they are more geared towards ICT. They have a lot of knowledge, a lot of interests, and when we go to the traditional methods of teaching, they don't get to learn so much compared to when we have the use of ICT in their learning. So it is my plea to the government that they really invest in the CBC. It's a very good system, but requires a lot of investment to make it effective.
Malin, thank you for your time. Allow me to also bring on board Leonard Oronje, the Secretary, Executive Secretary, Kuppet, Kwale County, to just maybe paint for us a picture of the situation on ground.
Okay, thank you so much. As you've been told, my name is Leonard Oronje. I'm the Executive Secretary of Kuppet, Kwale, and a very important stakeholder in education. As you've been told, that CBC is a very good curriculum, but it needs a lot of investment. There's supposed to be investments in the human resource, infrastructure, and also in ICT. And if you compare the school we are in, that is the Avian School, and the public school, you see a very, very big gap. There's a very big difference. And I think this is a challenge to the government. Maybe the government may not reach the level of such schools, but then they can do something. Because as you've been told, we need teachers who can teach these students in their areas of specialization. But in public schools, the teachers, what they do is that they teach almost every subject. As I told you, you can take data across the schools in Kwale and realize that most schools have got 2 teachers generally. That is the average number of teachers. There are some who have got 4, depending on the number of students, but then the average number is 2. There are some schools which have got only 1 teacher, and that is really wastage, because if you look at the students, they're being taught every day by the same teacher who is not specialized in various subjects. Those are the learning areas. And in the long run, that is total wastage, as I said before, of a whole generation. In Kwale, we have about 404 junior secondary schools, that is for public, and about 69 private schools. And we really appreciate the other stakeholders, the private entities who have come in to bridge the gap. But at the same time, we need not only bridging the gap, but we need something quality. We need quality education, not just education. I challenge you, and I challenge the education stakeholders to go to various public schools so that they can know what is happening. I also challenge the parents to get to know what is being taught in the various schools. They can ask their children, or they can move to the schools, because these are public schools, so that they get to know who are your teachers, what are they teaching. I'm very sure they'll be so much surprised. Yep. You have talked about the issue of labor, of course, teachers. How is the situation with the infrastructure? We're talking about laboratories, among others. The situation is appalling, so to say. I really doubt if there's any public junior secondary school around within the county which has got a laboratory, a single laboratory. And here we're talking about science laboratory, home science laboratory. They also should be having an ICT lab, which I am very sure they don't have. They were being challenged to move to secondary schools so that they can take such lessons, the practical lessons, the practicums in secondary schools. Look at the distance between these primary schools and the secondary schools. And even those secondary schools, who told you that they have the laboratories? Just structures, they're not laboratories. They only buy chemicals and all that when exams are almost on. Now the primary schools are supposed to move to these particular structures. I think that is a big lie to the learners and also to the generation which we are trying to mentor. I know this morning you're having a meeting, the county education meeting. Are these issues some of those that you're going to discuss? Yeah, we are going to discuss some of these issues, and especially also to build the capacities of those who are members of the county education board. We can't say that we are totally abreast with what is supposed to happen, but what we're going to do, because today there's going to be a training by the Aga Khan Foundation, just to build our capacity so that we can get to know what is happening around and what we can do to improve the learning in Kwale. Remember, Kwale is coming up, even when it comes to examination. Form 4 examination, Kwale moved by almost 0.5 to 3.5, which is very good. Generally, the number of students who have moved to universities in secondary school is also high. So when we meet as the County Education Board, we are trying to come up with ways and measures to ensure that the students whom we have today and the schools which we have within our county are always going northwards, not southwards.
Northwest, north, southwest. Well, thank you, Bwana Secretary, for your time, and we look forward for some other engagement.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure being with you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe just kindly for 30 seconds, I can just throw one question to one of the people here, the learner. What's your name?
My name is Isaac.
Your name is?
Isaac Mulay.
Who do you want to be in future?
Engineer.
Engineer? Oh?
Yes.
And you, what's your name?
Ali.
Ali.
Yes.
You want to be?
Marine pilot.
Marine pilot. Okay, there you have it, Grace. Those are reactions from